Hello students and welcome to class. Today we are going on a tour. Where, you might ask, are we going on a tour to? Well, we are going on a tour of the universe, at least the Buddhist understanding of the universe. We're going to take a look. So behind me is part of a picture that depicts the Buddhist universe. In today's class, we are going to understand a little bit better how Buddhism envisions the universe and the significance of this special force that really shapes and structures the universe, and that force is karma. All right, let's take a look. So what we've been doing these last couple of lectures has actually just all been the life of the Buddha. And we've been focusing on a specific episode in the life story where the character named Siddhartha transforms into becoming a Buddha. And Buddha means an awakened one. So what is the Buddha awakened to that the rest of us are asleep to? Well, last week's class, we saw the Buddha. This is the first watch of the moon, the karmalogical watch. He sees his own karma, how he was born in Siddhartha and how Siddhartha gives rise to the Buddha. This is what we call the karmalogical watch, represented by a series of stories called the Jataka tales. These are the stories of Siddhartha as a bodhisattva, a Buddha in training, who will eventually evolve into the Buddha of this era. Today's lecture, and well, at least this lecture for today, we're going to look at the cosmological watch. This is where the being that's awakened into a Buddha will see the universe and how the universe is structured and shaped by karma. And then the next lecture will look at the pathway to escaping karma, to escaping the misery and suffering of this universe. Okay, so karma. Says karma has no menu. You get served what you deserve. Buddhism is one of many Asian religions that has an idea of karma. Karma is often thought of as some kind of principle of justice inherent within the universe, where if someone does bad, sooner or later they're going to get the results of those bad actions. And if someone does good, sooner or later, they're going to get the positive results of those actions. Okay, so karma is key to understanding 5 things in Buddhism. First, karma explains how this universe comes into being. So there are multiple universes in Buddhism. It's the actions of beings in those universes that give rise to those world systems or cause those world systems to come to an end. So there would be no worlds, there would be no earth, there would be no planets if it wasn't for the actions. And karma in the Sanskrit means action. Karma, our actions will shape who we are. Our mentality, our attitude on life, how we act and behave, that determines our psychology. Very important in Buddhism is this concept that we are all trapped in a cycle of birth and death. This cycle of birth and death is called samsara, and karma determines when we die and how and when we're reborn, our next reincarnation. And just more generally, everything that exists is explained through karma, how things come into existence and how they cease to be. So karma in Buddhism, it's a natural law inherent in the universe. This means we don't have any type of creator God who's putting this law in. This is a law that just is within the very structure of the universe. Some can maybe consider, maybe like, for example, the law of gravity. So this gives rise to all the worlds. And there's a couple sayings. You reap what you sow. And karma is often described using a metaphor of farming and planting seeds. So if one, let's say someone commits a bad deed in this life, maybe somebody will, I don't know, someone's driving their car and they intentionally run over a squirrel. That would be a very mean thing to do. Maybe in this life, one will escape any consequences for that action. But perhaps in one's next life, one's next rebirth, that seed of having intentionally killed a being, in that case, in the example I gave, the squirrel crossing the road, that seed will ripen into a psychological impulse that will cause us to behave in a certain way in our next life. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I was that person who ran over our cute little squirrel, and my next life, I get an impulse to cross the street at a certain time. And as I cross the street, boom, I'm hit by some kind of vehicle. That impulse is because of a seed that was planted in my mind in the last life when we committed a negative action, i.e. the running over the squirrel. So our mind is full of seeds that are going to cause us to act and behave in certain ways that are going to create certain consequences. And we constantly sow more seeds through our actions in our life. So what goes around comes around, this idea that there is this justice within the universe, that sooner or later one will get what they've, what their actions merit, whether a punish, some kind of negative consequence or positive consequence. And very important is that karma determines the present life, the life we have now, and our future lives. And it governs this whole process of reincarnation. In Buddhism, there's one of 6 realms. There's no specific order. It's based on karma, so there's no sequential order. But there's 6 major realms. There's a realm of the gods, a realm of the demigods, a realm of humans, a realm of hell beings, a realm of animals, and a realm for the class of beings called the hungry ghosts. We'll take a little bit more closer look at each of those realms. So karma will have 3 qualities: good, bad, or neutral, depending on the intentions. So these are the 3 things that equal karma: intentions plus actions and plus the consequences. Those are the 3 major components of karma. All right, here we have the Buddhist universe. There's many layers of symbols here, but we're going to focus on a couple of them. First, this being on the outside, this is Mara, the god of death. And this is to symbolize that no matter where we live, no matter where we go, we are always inside the jaws of death. The 6 realms, and a little bit about each one. These are the upper 3 realms. These are the lower 3 realms. Let's begin with the lowest realm. The lowest realms, we have the realm of the animals. And animal reincarnation is considered an unfortunate one because animals experience lots of suffering, often at the hands of humans. And animals are impulsive creatures that are prone to do things like kill other animals for food, and this creates bad karma for them. In Buddhism, you also have hell realms, and there are different hells. There's there's a hell where one is cut up again and again and again. There's a hell where one is burned alive again and again and again. There's a hell where one is frozen again and again. The difference between the hell realms of Buddhism and, say, the Christian concept of hell is hell in Buddhism is not permanent. One will eventually die while in a hell realm and be reborn into some other realm of existence. Here we have the hungry ghost realm, and this is a realm in which beings are said to have big giant bodies but little tiny necks and can never ever get enough food. They're perpetually hungry and starving. So those are our 3 lower realms. Now let's go to our higher realms. In Buddhism, one can be born as a god or goddess, and the god or goddess realm is like having a party 24/7, full of bliss and happiness. And then you have down here a demigod realm, sometimes called the Ashura realm. These gods, they have it good, but not quite as good as these gods, and so they're a little bit jealous. Now, even as a god or goddess, one will eventually die, and based on one's karma, will be reborn in any of these realms. Again, there's no sequence. And final realm we have is the realm that we are in. This is the human realm. The human realm is said to be the best realm because it's the middle way realm between the bliss of the gods and the suffering of the lower realms. The gods are so blissed out that they're just too happy. They're having too much fun to care about the fact that eventually they're going to die, they're going to suffer, they're going to grow old and be reborn. The lower realms, they're just struggling to survive all the suffering. The human realm is considered the best realm, and please note this point. The human realm is the best realm according to Buddhism because it is the realm in which there's a right balance of suffering and pain, where one can then focus on practicing the path out of suffering. That path is called the Dharma. And once again, this is just another picture. So we have the God realm, the Ashura or jealous God realm, the animal realm, the hells. Remember, there's more than one hell, and hell is impermanent. We have a realm of the ghosts or the hungry ghosts, and the realm of the humans. This is the Sanskrit term for this cycle is samsara. It's a cycle of birth and re-death. And based on one's karma, one will be born, have a certain lifespan, and then based on the karma, one's actions, one will be reborn in another realm. And this happens again and again. So in some of our previous lives, we might have been animals. In some of our previous lives, we may have been gods and goddesses. In some of our previous lives, we may have been hell beings. All right, here we have emotions, or rather, I think these are called emojis. Well, emotions are actually very important to understanding karma and how and where we will be reincarnated, and to how to stop reincarnation. So this is an assumption of Buddhism, that if we can bring our emotions under control, we can bring our mind under control, and through controlling the emotions, through controlling the mind, one can gain control over one's karma. And thus one can generate really positive karma, or one could even escape the clutches of karma, death, and rebirth. But the key here is controlling one's inner state. One's using the mind, using the powers of the mind to gain control over the emotions. By controlling the emotions, the mind becomes stronger in Buddhism. Our minds, the mental abilities, our mental capacities will expand. We will thus be able to be more mindful, more aware of what we're doing, thus avoiding accumulating negative karma. And we can also then, according to Buddhism, start going on a path to overcoming karma. In Buddhism, suffering is self-induced and ultimately a mental state. This is a very important idea. Suffering in Buddhism is not created from the outside. It's something that we've created that always is experienced within. The external conditions, whether it's encountering a pandemic or an economic recession, we encounter these because of our karma. And our karma, again, exists as these seeds that have been planted in our mind streams. As a result of our past karma, we took rebirth in this current life, in this current age, where we experience different forms of pleasure and pain. Again, this is our 6 realms. At the center, the very, very, very center, the very core of this, we have the 3 poisons. These are a pig, a snake, and a rooster. The pig will symbolize ignorance or moha. Snake represents anger or hatred, dvesha. And the rooster or bird symbolizes greed or desire. It is these forces, these negative emotions, when they overtake us, when they dictate our actions and decisions, they thereby create bad karma and fuel these endless cycles of rebirth. Quotes from the Buddha, it is intentional, monks, that I call karma. Having willed, one acts through body, speech, and mind. So our intentions, especially intentions motivated by one of those three poisons, that keeps us trapped in this cycle. Let's take a look at the first poison more in detail, ignorance. Wisdom, according to Buddhism, is the antidote for ignorance. And this is what will allow one to escape the cycle of birth and death. Ignorance is the primary obstacle. And we can think here, all throughout existence, humans have searched in different religions, different cultures, for some kind of higher truth. There is this assumption found in world religions that finding this ultimate truth will set someone free. Here we're just going to look a little bit at a sutra. These are the sayings of the Buddha. And he says, monks, ignorance is the leader in the attainment of unskillful qualities, followed by lack of conscience, lack of concern. So because we are ignorant, this of the truth, the ultimate reality, we engage in unskillful actions that have this downward negative spiral. Let's look at our next poison. Our next poison, and some of us have maybe used this emoji. This is anger, I think. Anger is symbolized by the snake. This is a Buddhist master named Shantideva, and he says this: whatever wholesome deeds, such as veneration of the Buddhas and generosity, that have been amassed over 1,000 eons, will be destroyed in one moment of anger. There is no evil like hatred and no fortitude like patience. Thus, I should strive in various ways to meditate on patience. So patience is the cure for anger, according to Buddhism. And anger is a very, very dark, destructive force. Out of anger, we lose control of our emotions. Anger consumes us and we commit. Seeing red, we commit mistakes, we commit actions, and these actions can destroy long periods of good deeds that we've accumulated, good karma. Finally, we have craving, which is often symbolized by a rooster, sometimes a lovebird. And this is craving to that, or desires that come from our senses. So, our sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. And this is another sutra that says, whatever are worldly fetters, may you not be bound by them. Completely break down sensual desire and practice to realize nirvana for yourself. Nirvana is the state beyond samsara, escape from this trap of a universe. Here, one has to break down sensual desires. That's what the Buddha is saying here, to escape this trap. All right, and I'll take a look at maybe one more quote. Greed, I say, is a great flood. It is a whirlpool sucking one down, a constant yearning, seeking a hold, continually in movement. Difficult is to cross is the morass of sexual desire. So you have this pit, this trap of our sensual desires, and it's very, very, very difficult to overcome them. But one must do that in order to escape this trap. All right, so desire is based on the senses, and it's attachment and craving to things external. It is It is these cravings that constitute an obstacle to meditation and wisdom, and the senses must be controlled. These desires must be controlled in order for us to reach a state of bliss, that is nirvana. All right, so this is the karmalogical watch, and we saw the center of the circle is symbolized, by a pig, who symbolizes ignorance, a snake symbolizing anger or hatred, and a bird symbolizing desire or craving, in particular the desires of the senses. Buddhism says, however, we can break out of this jail. How do you break out of this jail? Through the three jewels. These are the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha called the Dharma, and the community of monks and nuns who support the Dharma in the world, and this is called the Sangha. This is a source of karmic merit that protects one from lower rebirths. So taking refuge in the Buddha, his teachings, and the community of monks and nuns. And this is what guides beings to liberation from samsara, the cycle of birth and death and rebirth. The ultimate goal is nirvana, and nirvana is a state which is freedom from negative karma and freedom from samsara. And one achieves this freedom so nirvana means to kind of blow out, to extinguish. If you can blow out and extinguish these three poisons, one is no longer trapped by the powers of karma. So nirvana is the blowing out or extinguishing of these three poisons. That's the key to the jailbreak. All right, that concludes our lecture on karma. Be sure to contact me if you have any questions. Please don't hesitate to do so. In our next lecture, we'll look at the final phase of the moon, where the Buddha sees the pathway to overcoming old age, sickness, and death, and becomes a fully awakened Buddha. That path is what we call the Dharma. Okay, so please stay safe, stay well, and stay tuned.